Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. I hope we've got some budding filmmakers and photography students in the crowd, in the classroom. Alright, so I'm going to be talking to you guys a lot about, I'm going to be focusing a lot on film, but also touch on photography. And we're going to be looking at how filmmakers get their shots. And what I want to get you guys thinking about is looking at pieces like films or photography and things like that and thinking, wow, rather than just looking at the image, I want you to be thinking, how did they actually get that shot? You know, how do you get a shot of Bear Grylls up close and personal when he's climbing a vine down a mountain? All right, I want you to really think about how things are made. Now, working in media, in my experience, has been very colourful and fun. And the great thing about it is that you get a skill set. So you might learn to be a cameraman or a producer, or you might be into editing or photography or something like that. And you get a skill set, and then you can either apply it to a field that you're interested in, or you can just sort of wait and see what work comes to you and jump on anything and enjoy a very varied lifestyle that changes every single day. I've worked in a few different areas of media. I've worked in design, photography, news, documentary and TV series. So, you know, when I was younger, I was into music film clips, and so I had to go at, music film clips. And then when I was into current affairs, I was working in news, and now I'm interested in presenting and documentary filmmaking, and so I'm having a go at those as well. So, let's see. I'm going to start by showing you, is it sideways? There we go. I mentioned Bear Grylls before because he's a really great example of pushing a crew to the limits, okay? So to get started, I thought we'd have a look at a little behind the scenes clip of Bear Grylls. So, I'll do a bit of narration here, but you can see the crew are preparing for Bear to go down this cliff. And if I just
maybe 30-foot drop straight down to river, and it's this we're trying to make safe.
You'll see this is where they take their first shot. Have a look and see how many people are working behind the scenes, all right? You've got...
I'm very nervous. You scare me, Bear. Thank you very much, guys. Can I just clear you, guys at the back, please? Just back on that line. Thank you very much. Okay.
And this is some of the crew we got here. This is Paul, who's sound man. Dave.
So he's doing a piece to camera now.
Royal Marine safety man.
And we got the safety first. The camera guy's got he's wrapped up around the waist so he doesn't fall down the cliff. You've got the sound guy. You've got your producer director. You've got a second cameraman.
And yeah, good friend, real hero. What a pleasure.
And it's always very quiet when you're shooting. Alright?
Okay, standing by for a take.
So if I zoom off to 511, you'll see, now to get a really good, close, intimate shot of Bear going down the cliff, of course, the cameraman's going to have to follow him. So, 11. So you can see the cameraman's dangling closely behind him. It's not the best quality video, but you get the idea. And I've seen an interview with some of the cameramen that work with him, and there's times when they hesitate because they're scared. They may not be proficient abseilers or prepared to jump out of a helicopter into rough seas or whatever, but as part of the job, as part of this job, you've got to sort of get good at it, I suppose, or be adventurous like Bear. You can see he follows him right down until he actually gets into the water. Now, there are times in productions like that where it might be too dangerous for even the camera people to go. So how do you get a shot of Bear right up close so that you can feel the excitement and the danger when it's too dangerous for the cameraman to go down with him? So when it's too dangerous for a cameraman to go down, something that's been almost revolutionary for us in the media field is GoPros, because they're so small and you can just attach them to, in awkward places and on people, and you're not risking a cameraman, and they're a lot lighter, so you can go in afterwards. So on Man vs. Wild, they call them bear cam. So let's have a quick look at this.
That's it. I got it. Okay. Sometimes, though, the only way through is on my own. Stop. Hang on, wait here a sec. When that happens, I've got to use one of these. A mini can. Or as we call it, bear can.
Bear cam, this wrist-mounted camera, that's looking up and looking down.
I've got my foot, I can just move it to the left or the right.
A tough little thing, it has to be. Strapped to Bear Grylls' arm, he smacks it about all the time. But it always survives. I suppose it's bear-proof.
This tiny camera enables me to get some extraordinary shots when it's just too dangerous to risk the crew.
There you can see it was too dangerous for the camera person to go down, so they strapped these cameras to Bear, and then he goes down first. But shortly after that, once they found a track for him to go down, then the cameraman with the big camera on his shoulders and has to go down after him. Now, another show that I would like to talk to you about quickly is Deadliest Catch. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that show. And they utilise GoPros as well. So you can imagine that when Deadliest Catch is when these camera crew go out with these people that go out and catch lobsters and crabs and things like that. It's actually one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, which is very, very exciting for viewers to watch at home, and also very, very dangerous. But you've got to get the crew in there. So I'll show you how they set up some of their work on this show. They utilise GoPros and strap their cameras, with ropes coming up the ceiling of boats and things like that. And it's really important for them to consider safety, but they know it's very risky when they go out on the job.
For the crew of Deadliest Catch, telling the story isn't just about the captain and crew. The challenge comes in finding new ways to immerse the viewers.
What are you doing, Steve? Oh, we're gonna get some GoPro shots here. Super light camera on the end of a long pole. It's pretty cool. This GoPro really enables us to put the camera in a lot of unique places.
On the Kodiak, producer Stephen Wright angles for a new take on hauling crab pots.
Get the shot? Check out the shot. I'm trying to get the perspective of the dogs with the GoPro here. You watch, it's a mechanical dog. Lock the pot in place. These tiny cameras are some of the most versatile cameras we have. You can place them just about anywhere on the boat.
And after getting the close-up, the best way to go wide is to get on another boat.
I think you get the picture there.
This
You
is
can
a
see
taste
here
boat.
how
We
the
couldn't
only
just
way
go
this
out on
guy
any
could
normal
secure his
boat.
camera
This
and
is
get a
crab
steady
boat,
shot
'cause any other boat would just roll over out there.
was by hanging his camera from one of the roofs.
It's very humbling out there. Just getting from the door to this filming station's an event, because there's just walls of water flying through here. And I'm just basically trying to hang on and do everything to get a steady shot. I tried all kinds of strategies to get stable in here. I think one of the best was actually suspending the camera. But the hardest part is we need to get close. And the problem with close is
I'll
it's
jump
dangerous.
over
We've
to
come very close to
photography.
having collisions on these ships.
2
When you have a look at this is obviously, I hope that you can recognize a great white shark. And when you have a look at it, it looks like the shark is just about to jump, just about to bite the camera. Well, this isn't actually the case. The shark has already taken the camera. The photographer was floating on a diving board on his stomach with the top half of his body hanging over the top of the diving board, and they had bait on a rod just overhead of him. And so the plan was for them to coax the shark in with the bait, and then right when the shark goes to take the bait, the photographer takes the shot. Okay, but unfortunately, the shark bypassed the bait and went straight for the photographer's camera. So while they were grappling with the shark and the camera, the photographer had a belt around his waist where there was an assistant holding him by the belt while he's got the shark and the camera in his hands. And after shaking and prying, the shark released the camera and then he took the photo. So that photographer had a bit of a passion for sharks, and that was actually his own project that he commissioned, and then Discovery Channel took the image and started using it for their promos. Keeping on the theme of sharks, I'm going to show you another video, but it's really interesting with these sorts of images. Like when you look at them, you go, oh wow, that's really cool, look how many teeth that shark has. But you also got to think, oh my goodness, how did that person get that shot? Okay. Now I'll show you another quick video, and I'm going to talk over the top of it. Now this is a guy who combined his passion of great white sharks and marine biology with filmmaking. Okay. So I'll just narrate over the top of this. Oops. I hope you can still hear me. 1:30. So this guy, he wanted to get shots of sharks that had never been seen before and get right up close and personal with the sharks. So how is he going to do this if you traditionally do it in a cage? Well, he went diving with the sharks without a cage. And because the sharks, I'll show you a bit of the footage. If we go to 1:3. Now, because sharks do an ambush attack.
Although commonly thought to be bold and brave, white sharks are actually cautious animals and won't just venture in and attack something they're not sure of.
Thank you. Now, this is an example of a filmmaker modifying his equipment to suit his shooting needs. So, because sharks will ambush attack, he's actually put 2 rear view mirrors on either side of his rig so that he can see the sharks coming from behind. You can see there, he's got the mirrors. Look at the size of him. So there you go. I mean, if you're working on a bigger production, sometimes, you know, with BBC and David Attenborough and people like that, they do these productions and they get the, you know, top of the line equipment, and but you know, smaller production houses may just need to modify your equipment to suit your filming needs. One of my personal favorites on innovations for getting a good shot is a series that was made by a filmmaker called John Downer. Okay. And it's a challenge when you're trying to shoot, you know, nature documentaries and things, can be getting the animals to act naturally in their habitat. Because obviously, as you could imagine, if you've got a camera stuck in your face, they're going to freak out because they're thinking we're a predator to them, we are danger to them, so they're not going to behave naturally. And you yourself would know if you've got a camera in your face, it's pretty hard to pretend like everything's normal. So they wanted to get never seen before footage of tigers and tiger cubs, but they knew that the tigers would act differently if they were there. So they're thinking, how are we going to sort out this problem? So they found that the tigers didn't really acknowledge elephants. So what did they do next? They trained the elephants, which I cannot show you. Oh, there we go. They trained the elephants to be cameramen, well, camera elephants. And they trained them to hold their trunk steady and to walk steady and to use a delicate touch. And they used, I'll show you a little snippet of a film that will show them in action. And basically they had trunk cam, tusk cam, and log cam.
As its name suggests, tusk cam is mounted on the elephant's tusk. It's smaller than trunk cam, so it can be carried at all times. Perfect for shots on the move.
So that's all footage from the elephant's tusk.
It's usually the first camera to film a tiger, and it now has a local celebrity in its sights. This is Charger, the father of the cubs. Worryingly, he got his name from his readiness to charge. It's clearly a job for trunk cam, a spy cam with hidden talents. Charger will attack without provocation, but trunk cam is specifically designed to look harmless. Charger reacts surprisingly calmly to this motorized tree trunk. He's less a tiger, more like a pussycat. Even the camera's pans and zooms provoke little reaction. But then something strange catches Charger's eye. He sees what he thinks is another tiger. It could be an expensive time for a piece of kit that costs as much as a small house.
That's what I was talking about, them having bigger budgets than smaller production houses. That camera, he said, cost the same as a small house.
But Charger isn't easily intimidated, which is good news for his cubs. More cubs are killed by rival males than anything else. But while Charger is around, his cubs are safe.
That narration was one of my favourite filmmakers and producers, presenters, David Attenborough. Now, not all, I mean, this picture's a little bit blurry, but so I apologise, but it's the best quality picture I could get. Now, going out on location and filming, it isn't always glamorous. So I've picked this example because this was from a series called Planet Earth. And basically, this crew was shooting one shot where they wanted one continuous shot going up this giant mound in a bat cave. The shot only went for a few seconds, but it literally took them several days to get this shot. And what they were tracking up was a giant mound of bat poo and cockroaches. So you can imagine the stench coming off that mountain, and it was huge. This guy is standing on the top of it. You can see all the cockroaches on top of there. The smell apparently was so bad that it was actually corroding the camera equipment. And these guys got stationed there for, up to a week to get this one shot that lasted about 5 or 6 seconds. So sometimes, even though you'll see something that only took that on screen for only a few seconds, it actually can take, several hours, days, or even weeks to shoot beforehand. Now I'm going to talk about a young aspiring media worker. This girl is called Molly Ambrose. She's 10 and she's the world's youngest volcano chaser. So when Molly was just 9 years old, she went on the Mount Yasser volcano, and that's where there was 3 tourists killed by lava dropping on them in recent years. So to get these shots, she went. She needed to stand 200 foot from the deadly molten rock, and she had to wear an aluminium suit capable of withstanding 1,000 degrees Celsius. That suit that she's wearing there. She went on the shoot with her father, who's a volcano chaser, and they climbed up 1,100 feet to get the shot. And Molly was quoted as saying that the lava smells a bit funny like vinegar. And she's keen to follow in her father's footsteps and become a professional volcano hunter after she studied at uni. Now, when you're working and getting in media, not all jobs are dangerous. You do get local jobs like this one. We've got a cameraman here, Jim. If Jim would like to point the camera at the thing and say hi. So,
hello, everybody.
Oh, I think you need to step in a bit closer to me. Yep, there you go. So we're shooting for Inquiring Minds today, which you guys are being a part of. So you don't have to chase volcanoes or jump in the ocean with great white sharks to work in media. You do have local jobs that you can work into. And you can try, if you're interested in this, in filming or photography, you really need to get into it at home. I mean, a lot of you will have mobile phones with cameras in them already. You could video with your phone at home, or your parents might have a video camera, or you might have one. But I'll show you some examples of photography just to get you a little bit inspired. And a lot of these things are things that you can try at home, okay? So you can play with things like perspective and, optical illusions and things like that. So I'll just take you through a few images. And like I say, a lot of these you can try yourself at home. Right. Now, a lot of these guys are just really simple ideas that you can do, that you can play with a bit of, with some optical illusions or perspective. Just getting a little bit creative and having fun can make some really interesting shots. 10 minutes, great. Is that including question time? Yeah. All right, so, and I'll just show you one more video now, really quickly. Sounds like I am a sales rep for GoPro, but I'm not. This is just a good example of simple film using an interesting topic. I'll show you a few minutes and I'll talk about it. I'll stop it and show you different things as we go. But basically I want you to have a look out for and think about how exciting and interesting these shots can be when you have a different perspective, okay? So when you're having a look at this footage, I want you to keep an eye out for a camera mounted on a human, a lion, and a hyena. And I'm going to point out the use of a Steadicam. Let's just...
Mayday! Maggie! Here she comes. How you want to slowly, slowly, slowly.
Oh wow.
Where have you been?
So there you've got the camera mounted on the person.
Let's just go back a bit. I lie down there next to them and I just think, you're just so beautiful. What would I do to make you better? I can't.
As a kid, I could really only remember lions in storybooks. I would always imagine, lions to be wandering the plains of Africa and, exactly where, exactly where they should be.
Oh.
Now that shot there, that's a steady cam. So that one, I'll just pause it for a second. That guy has got a piece of equipment around his waist and there's a rod coming out and then he's got a camera on the other end. Let me get in the screen. He's got a camera on the end facing him, and so that gets that kind of, that really nice effect where everything is moving around him, but the shot is quite smooth. That one's from his perspective, so he's got a camera around his neck. That's a steady cam shot. So the one where it's attached around his waist.
Chin scratch. They're very happy, content cats.
That's a steady cam shot.
Hyenas, it's the neck. So if you scratch a hyena's neck,
see how he's got the camera around his neck?
People around the world still think that Africa is this place teeming with game, iconic archetypal Africa.
Sure.
And it just doesn't happen. When a species disappears from a habitat,
it's a really lovely story, but we're running out of time. So I want to show you something which I find quite funny. Oh, here we go. This is where you get Hyena Cam, I think. You get from the hyena's perspective.
Completely misunderstood, where everyone thinks that they are just smelly, rotten scoundrels and scavengers. They do not smell. They're not rotten. And the interesting thing really is that the lowest ranking female ranks higher than the highest ranking male, if that makes sense. So it's quite an interesting little society. Now I'm just going to get a job. I'll walk around with them, walk a bit with them. I'm going to introduce you guys. Hello there, sweetie. Let's go to that first. Come. Let's introduce Monty, the human trapped in hyena clothing. He's moved up the rank.
And if I just hurry up along here and show you another part, when I have a look at this, I think, whoa, that would be the sweetest job ever. But but then when you get out there, you'd probably be a little bit scared because you're a camera person. You haven't reared these animals. And have a look at the camera crew. So all of the wild animals are used to the guy that's got the GoPros on him, the guy that owns the national park. But have a look at the camera crew.
You want to go right over this sort of dead ground?
In the background.
How about their personalities? Like, they have such a cartoonish face and character.
So people generally see a friendly side, and they go, and it lulls people into this false sense of security. Is the window open? Yeah. No. Okay. What's he doing? No. Throw the car. I opened the stand over here. What you doing? What? Hey, you better quit laughing out there, Kevin.
Oh man, here we go. He smells your fear, man.
Okay.
All right, I think we're about run out of time now. I hope I've given you a little bit of a window into the world of media. I don't actually own any cameras. I'm doing my PhD, and so when I need equipment, I have equipment at uni that I can borrow. And the projects that I've worked on, the camera crew all have their own stuff. So, but I have actually shot things with my iPhone, and a bit of stuff with GoPros, but not, big grown-up cameras. But your iPhones, they shoot high definition anyway, so you get really good quality vision with that if you want to have a crack at it yourself. Probably your best bet would just be if you have a think about what you want to do. Like, I mean, if you want to be a camera person, or if you want to be a producer, or a director, or a presenter, have a think about what you want to do, and then practice it. So if you want to be a camera person, then get out there and just practice. It doesn't matter. You don't need the latest equipment or whatever you want. Practice, practice, practice. Get out there and see if you can get on a crew. And like often people can start as a runner. I don't know if you've heard of that term, but get on any project that you can and work for free. You might be able to say, oh, can I go out, and you might be making coffees the first day or holding equipment for people just so that you get familiar with a crew. And then eventually you do every job that you can, the best that you can, and then you start to sort of go up the ranks and people give you a chance. It's unlikely that you would, your first job that you ever got would be going and shooting in Africa, but you might start doing short films with your friends, and then you manage to get, a running job, or a slightly lower ranking job at a television station or on an independent movie or something like that, and you gradually get more experience, and then you make connections with different people, and then you eventually get up to doing nature documentaries, which is what I would love to be doing too. They're my favorite. I love photography. I love photography, whether it's moving images, so film, or still images. And I think probably just loving the craft and the content. So I love art, and I love beautiful images, but then I love the content of images too. Like, I love, as you can see from my presentation, everything's animal orientated, and great whites are one of my favorite animals. So I love, those things inspire me. So anything with them in them, I want to be a part of. And then I love learning as well. So any other sort of types of photography that I can learn something new, or find out some more information, or about a new culture, I find really interesting. And all that goes hand in hand with photography and filmmaking. I'm sure that there would be, and I wish that I could really quickly Google them right now so I could answer this better. I would have a look at, I would Google that question and see what's going on in your local area. I mean, there's Canon, Nikon have got a competition, and there should be other things. I mean, I could find this out if we're posting this stuff online. I could find a few links. Oh, the Easter show have got a competition on as well. And have a look. It's a really good idea when you're entering competitions, is look and see what's going on in your local area, because they're often smaller. You might not have as many people to compete with, so you've probably got a good chance of getting a place. So Nikon and the Easter show are two, but also Google, photography competitions, film competitions in your local area.